Chapter 27, Lord Krishna's Instructions on the Process of Deity Worship. In this chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead explains the process of Kriya Yoga or deity worship. Worshipping the deity form of the Supreme Lord automatically brings purity and satisfaction to the mind. Thus it is the source of all desirable gains. If a person has no engagement in deity service, he will simply remain attracted to material sense gratification, and he will have no hope of giving up bad association. The Personality of Godhead has given instruction among the regulations of the Sattvata scriptures on the process of worshipping him as the bona fide deity. Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Vyasa, all other sages have recommended this process described by the Lord as most perfectly beneficial for all the occupational classes and spiritual orders of human society, including even the women and Shudras. There are three varieties of Archana deity worship based on either the original Vedas, the secondary Tantras, or a combination of these. The deity image, the ground, the fire, the sun, the water, and the heart of the worshipper are all true locations of the deity's presence. The deity form to be worshipped may be constructed of any one of 8 substances: stone, wood, metal, clay, paint, sand drawn upon the ground, the mind, or jewels. These categories are further subdivided into 2, temporary and permanent. The details of the worshipping process are as follows. The devotee should bathe both physically and by chanting mantras, and then he should perform the utterance of Gayatri at the prescribed juncture of the day. He should arrange a seat facing either east or north, or else directly facing the deity, and should bathe and clean the deity. Then he should present clothing and ornaments, sprinkle water on the vessels and other paraphernalia to be used in the worship, and offer water for bathing the deity's feet, arghya, water for washing his mouth, fragrant oils, incense, lamps, flowers, and food preparations. After this, one should worship the Lord's personal servants and bodyguards, his consort energies, and the spiritual masters by chanting their respective Mula mantras. The worshipper should recite prayers from the Puranas and other sources, offer obeisances flat on the ground, beg for benediction, and place on himself the remnants of the Lord's garlands. Included in this method of deity worship are the proper installation of the transcendental deity by constructing a fine temple, and also the conducting of procession and other festivals. By worshipping Lord Sri Hari with unconditional devotion in this manner, one gains access to pure loving service to his lotus feet. But if one steals property that has been given as charity to the deity or the Brahmanas, whether given by himself or by others, he will have to take his next birth as a stool-eating worm. Text 1. Shri Uddhava Uvacha Kriya Yogam Samachakshva Bhavat Aradhanam Prabho Yasmat Tvam Ye Yatharchanti Satvataha Sattvatarshaba. Translation. Sri Uddhava said, My dear Lord, O Master of the devotees, please explain to me the prescribed method of worshipping you in your deity form. What are the qualifications of those devotees who worship the deity? On what basis is such worship established, and what is the specific method of worship? Purport. In addition to performing their prescribed duties, devotees of the Lord engage in regulated worship of the Lord in his deity form in the temple. Such worship acts powerfully to cleanse the heart of both the lust to enjoy one's material body and the material family attachment that results directly from this lust. To be effective, however, the process of deity worship must be performed in the authorized way. Therefore, Uddhava now inquires from the Lord about this subject. Text 2. Etat vadanti munayo muhur Nishreyasam nirnam Narado Bhagavan Vyasa Acharyo Ngirasaha Sutaha. Translation. All the great sages repeatedly declare that such worship brings the greatest benefit possible in human life. This is the opinion of Narada Muni, the great Vyasadeva, and my own spiritual master Brihaspati. Text 3:4. Nikrishtam te mukhambojat yadaha bhagavanaja putrebhyo bhrigu Devyai cha Bhagavan Bhavaha Etadvai Sarvavarnanam Ashramanam cha Samatam Shreyasam Uttamam Manye Stri Shudranam Chamanada. Translation. O most magnanimous Lord, the instructions on this process of deity worship first emanated from your lotus mouth. Then they were spoken by the great Lord Brahma to his sons, headed by Bhrigu, and by Lord Shiva to his wife Parvati. This process is accepted by and appropriate for all the occupational and spiritual orders of society. Therefore, I consider worship of you in your deity form to be the most beneficial of all spiritual practices, even for women and Shudras. Text 5. Etat Kamalapatraksha Karmabandha Vimochanam Bhaktyaya Chanuraktaya Bruhi Vishveshwareshwara. Translation. O Lotus-eyed One, O Supreme Lord of all Lords of the universe, please explain to your devoted servant this means of liberation from the bondage of work. Text 6. Shibhagavan Vacha Nahi Anto Nantaparasya Karma Kandasya Chodhava Sankshiptam Varnayishyami Yathavat Anupurvasaha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Uddhava, there is no end to the innumerable Vedic prescriptions for executing deity worship. So I shall explain this topic to you briefly, one step at a time. Purport. Here, the word Karmakanda refers to the various Vedic methods of worship, culminating in deity worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just as the means of sense gratification and material renunciation are innumerable, the transcendental pastimes and qualities the Supreme Personality of Godhead enjoys in his own abode, called Vaikuntha, are also innumerable. The various accepts of piety and methods of purification in the material world ultimately cannot be reconciled amongst themselves without accepting the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. Since without appreciation of Him there is no definitive understanding of what is actually obligatory for a human being, even though almost all human beings are engaged in various processes of worship, the Lord will now summarize this topic, describing how one should worship Him in His deity form. Text 7. Vaidikastatriko Mishra iti metrividho makaha trayanam ipshitenaiva vidhinam ham samarcharet. Translation. One should carefully worship me by selecting one of the three methods by which I receive sacrifice: Vedic, Tantric, or mixed. Purport. Vaidika refers to sacrifice performed with mantras from the four Vedas and auxiliary Vedic literature. Tantrika refers to such literatures as the Pancharatra and the Gautamiya Tantra, and mixed indicates utilization of both literatures. It should be remembered that superficial imitation of elaborate Vedic sacrifices will not bring one the actual perfection of life. One must perform sacrifice according to the prescription of the Supreme Lord, who recommends for this age the chanting of his holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Text 8. Yada svanigamenoktam vijatvam prapya purushaha yatha yachetamam bhaktya shraddhaya tannibodhame. Translation. Now please listen faithfully as I explain exactly how a person who has achieved twice-born status through the relevant Vedic prescriptions should worship me with devotion. Purport. The word Svanigamena refers to the particular Vedic injunctions relevant to one's social and occupational status. Members of the Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya communities all achieved Dvijatvam, twice-born status, by initiation into the Gayatri Mantra. Traditionally, fully qualified Brahmana boys may be initiated at age 8, Kshatriyas at 11, and Vaishyas at 12, provided the proper conditions are met. Having achieved twice-born status, one should faithfully worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of the deity as the Lord himself will describe. Text 9. Archayam standhile gnauva suryavap suhriti dvijaha dravyena bhakti yuktorchet svagurum mam amayaya. Translation. A twice-born person should worship me, his worshipable Lord, without duplicity, offering appropriate paraphernalia in loving devotion to my deity, form or to a form of me appearing upon the ground, in fire, in the sun, in water, or within the worshipper's own heart. A twice-born person should worship me, his worshipable Lord, without duplicity, offering appropriate paraphernalia in loving devotion to my deity, to form or to a form of me appearing upon the ground, in fire, in the sun, in water, or within the worshipper's own heart. Text 10. Purvam snanam prakurvita dauta danton gashruthaye Uphayairapi chasnanam mantrairmritgrahanadina. Translation. One should first purify his body by cleansing his teeth and bathing. Then one should perform a second cleansing by smearing the body with earth and chanting both Vedic and Tantric mantras. Text 11. Sanjopastyadi karmani vedena choditani me pujam taihi kalpayet samyak sankalpaha karma pavanir. Translation. Fixing the mind on me, one should worship me by his various prescribed duties, such as chanting the Gayatri Mantra at the 3 junctions of the day. Such performances are enjoined by the Vedas and purify the worshipper of reactions to fruitive activities. Text 12. Shailidarumayi lauhi lepya lekya cha saikati manumayi manimayi pratimashta vitasmrita. Translation. The deity form of the Lord is said to appear in 8 varieties: stone, wood, metal, earth, paint, sand, the mind, or jewels. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that certain deity forms, such as those made of sand, are manifested for a brief time to fulfill personal desire of the worshipper. Those, however, who desire to attain pure love of God should worship the permanent form of the deity made, for instance, of marble, gold, or brass, and they should maintain continual worship. In Krishna consciousness, there is no scope for neglecting the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 13. Chaleti dvivitya pratishta jiva mandiram Udvasavanena staha stirayamuthavarchane. Translation. The deity form of the Lord, who is the shelter of all living entities, can be established in two ways, temporarily or permanently. But a permanent deity has been called can never be sent, having been called can never be sent away, my dear Uddhava. Purport. The devotees of the Lord understand themselves to be the Lord's eternal servitors. Recognizing the deity to be the Lord himself, they permanently install the deity and engage in perpetual worship. The impersonalists, however, regard the eternal form of the Lord as a temporary manifestation of illusion. In fact, they regard the deity form as a mere stepping stone in their ambitious program to become God. Materialistic persons of whatever stripe consider the Lord to be their order supplier, and they make temporary arrangements for religious ceremonies to achieve temporary material sense gratification. This temporary mode of worship is favored by those desiring to exploit the personality of Godhead for their personal ends, whereas the loving devotees in Krishna consciousness, eternally engaged in worship of the personality of Godhead, they install permanent deities meant to be worshipped perpetually. Text 14. Astirayam vikalpah syat standiletu bhavetvayam snapanam tva avilepyayam anyatra parimarjanam. Translation. The deity that is temporarily established can optionally be called forth and sent away. But these two rituals should always be performed when the deity is traced upon the ground. Bathing should be done with water except if the deity is made of clay, paint, or wood, in which cases a thorough cleansing without water is enjoined. Purport. Various classes of devotees worship the deity of the personality of Godhead according to their various stages in faith in the Lord. An advanced devotee of Lord Krishna understands his eternal loving relationship with the Lord, and seeing the deity as the Lord himself, establishes an eternal relationship with the deity based on loving servitude to him. Understanding Lord Krishna to be the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, a faithful devotee makes a permanent arrangement for deity worship, installing the Lord's form made of, for example, stone, wood, or marble. The Shalagram Shila is considered to be automatically installed even without the formal ceremony, and so it is forbidden to call the deity with mantras or ask the deity to leave. On the other hand, if one prepares a deity form by drawing on sanctified ground, or by constructing a sand image, one must call the deity with mantras and then ask the deity to leave the external form, which will soon be demolished by the natural elements. The general principle is that a pure devotee of the Lord understands his relationship with the deity to be eternal. The more one surrenders in loving devotion to the deity, the more one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna is a person, but he is the Supreme Person, possessing his own unique feelings. One can easily please the Lord by devotional service offered to his deity form. One can easily please the Lord by devotional service offered to his deity form. By pleasing the Lord, one can gradually progress in the mission of human life and eventually go back home, back to Godhead, where the deity personally appears before the devotee and welcomes the devotee to his personal abode, known throughout the world as the Kingdom of God. Text 15. Dravyaihi prasithairmatyagaha pratimadish amayinaha bhaktasya cha yatha labdhair riddhi bhavena chaivahi. Translation. One should worship me in my deity forms by offering the most excellent paraphernalia, but a devotee completely freed from material desire may worship me with whatever he is able to obtain, and may even worship me within his heart with mental paraphernalia. Purport. A devotee still troubled by material desire tends to see the world as an object of sense gratification. Such a near devotee may misunderstand the Lord's supreme position and may even consider the Lord an object of his own enjoyment. Hence the must offer opulent paraphernalia to the deity so that he may constantly remember that the deity is the supreme enjoyer and that he, the neotip, is simply the worshipper and is actually meant for the deity's pleasure. In contrast, an advanced devotee, one fixed in Krishna consciousness, never forgets that the Supreme Lord is the actual enjoyer and controller of everything. The pure devotee offers his unalloyed love to the personality of Godhead, along with whatever paraphernalia is easily obtained. A Krishna conscious devotee does not waver in his devotion to Lord Krishna, and even with the simplest offering he completely satisfies the personality of Godhead. Texts 16 and 17. Snanalankaranam prishtam archayameva tuthava standile tattva vinyaso vahnav aja plutam havihi surya chapyarhanam prishtam shaliladibihi Shraddhayopahartam Prishtam Bhaktina Mama Varyapi. Translation. In worshipping the temple deity, my dear Uddhava, bathing and decoration are the most pleasing offerings. For the deity traced on sacred ground, the process of tattva vinyasa is most dear. Oblations of sesame and barley soaked in ghee are the preferred offering to the sacrificial fire, whereas worship consisting of upasthana and arghya is preferred for the sun. One should worship me in the form of water by offering water itself. Actually, whatever is offered to me with faith by my devotee, even if only a little water, is most dear to me. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present everywhere, and Vedic culture prescribes various ritualistic methods for worshipping the Lord in his various manifestations. The principal item is the faith and devotion of the worshipper, without which everything else is useless, as the Lord describes in the next verse. Text 18. Bhuri api abhaktopahritam namittoshaya kalpate gandho dhupah sumanaso Niponan Natyam Chakim Punaha. Translation. Even very opulent presentations do not satisfy me if they are offered by non-devotees, but I am pleased by any insignificant offering made by my loving devotees, and I am certainly most pleased when nice preparations of fragrant oil, incense, flowers, and palatable foods are offered with love. Purport. The Lord has stated in the previous verse that even a little water offered with love and devotion gives him great pleasure. Therefore the words Kim Punaha indicate the Lord's complete happiness when a suitable opulent offering is made with love and devotion. But an opulent offering made by a non-devotee cannot please the Lord. As Srila Jiva Goswami explains, the rules and regulations concerning deity worship and the listing of offense against the deities are all meant for helping one avoid precisely this kind of disrespectful or neglectful attitude toward the personality of Godhead in his deity form. In fact, all offenses against the deities are based upon irreverence and disregard for the Lord's position as master, and thus upon disobedience to his orders. Since one must worship the deity with reverence, one should offer opulent presentations to the deity with love, for such presentations both enhance the respectfulness of the worshipper and help him avoid offenses in his worship. Text 19. Suchihi sambhritya sambharaha pragdarbhaihi kalpitasanaha Ashina prag udagvarchet archayam tvatha samukhaha. Translation. After cleansing himself and collecting all the paraphernalia, the worshipper should arrange his own seat with blades of kusha grass, whose tips point eastward. He should then sit facing either east or north, or else if the deity is fixed in one place, he should sit directly facing the deity. After cleansing himself and collecting all the paraphernalia, the worshipper should arrange his own seat with blades of kusha grass, whose tips point eastward. He should then sit facing either east or north, or else, if the deity is fixed in one place, he should sit directly facing the deity. Purport. The word Sambhrita Samhara means that before beginning the deity worship, one should place all necessary paraphernalia nearby. In this way, one will not have to get up continually to search for different items. If the deity has been permanently installed, then one should sit facing the deity. Text 20. Kritanya Shach Kritanya Sam Madarcham Paninam Rajet Kalasam Prokshanyam Cha Yathavat Upasatayet. Translation. The devotee should sanctify the various parts of his body by touching them and chanting mantras. He should do the same for my deity form, and then with his hands he should clean the deity of old flowers and the remnants of previous offerings. He should properly prepare the sacred pot and the vessels containing water for sprinkling. Purport. Before beginning the process of worship mentioned here, one should offer obeisances to one's spiritual master, the deity, and other worshipable personalities. Text 21. Tat adpir janam dravyani atmanameva cha praksha patrani trini adpis taistair dravyaischa sadhayet. Translation. Then with the water of that prokshaniya vessel, he should sprinkle the area where the deity is being worshipped, the offerings that are going to be presented, and his own body. Next he should decorate with various auspicious substances 3 vessels filled with water. Then with the water of that prokshaniya vessel, he should sprinkle the area where the deity is being worshipped, the offerings that are going to be presented, and his own body. Next he should decorate with various auspicious substances 3 vessels filled with water. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami gives references from Vedic literature stating that the water meant for bathing the feet should be combined with millet seeds, durva grass, mixed in water, Vishnukranta flowers, and other items. The water used for artya should include the following 8 items: fragrant oil, flowers, unbroken barley corns, husked barley corns, the tips of kusha grass, sesame seeds, mustard seeds, and durva grass. The water for sipping should include jasmine flowers, ground cloves, and kakola berries. Text 22. Padyargya cha maniyartham trini patrani dideshikaha Rada Shirnata Sikaya Gayatrya Chabhimantrayet. Translation. The worshipper should then purify those 3 vessels. He should sanctify the vessel holding water for washing the Lord's feet by chanting Hridaya Namaha, the vessel containing water for Artya by chanting Shirase Swaha, and the vessel containing water for washing the Lord's mouth by chanting Sikkayai Vasat. Also, the Gayatri Mantra should be chanted for all 3 vessels. Text 23. Pinde Vaivagni Samsuthe Ritpadmastam Param Mama Anvim Jiva Kalam Dayam Dayen Nadante Siddha Bhavitam. Translation. The worshipper should meditate upon my subtle form, which is situated within the worshipper's own body, now purified by air and fire as the source of all living entities. This form of the Lord is experienced by self-realized sage in the last part of the vibration of the sacred syllable Om. The worshipper should meditate upon my subtle form, which is situated within the worshipper's own body, now purified by air and fire, as the source of all living entities. This form of the Lord is experienced by self-realized sage in the last part of the vibration of the sacred syllable Om. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the pranava or omkara has five parts: a, e, a, u, m. The nasal bindu and the reverberation nada. Liberated souls meditate upon the Lord at the end of that reverberation. Text 24. Tayatma bhutaya pinde vyapte sampuja tanmayaha avahyarcha dishustapya nyastangam prapujayat. Translation. The devotee conceives of the Supersoul, whose presence surcharged the devotee's body in the form corresponding to his realization. Thus the devotee worships the Lord to his full capacity and becomes fully absorbed in him. By touching the various limbs of the deity and chanting appropriate mantras, the devotee should invite the Supersoul to join the deity's form, and the devotee should worship me. Purport. The body of a devotee is pervaded by the Supreme Lord, just as a house is pervaded by the glow of a lamp. Just as one gestures in a friendly way to indicate that a guest should enter one's house, one touches the body of the deity, chants appropriate mantras, and enthusiastically invites the Supersoul to enter the form of the deity. Since both the deity and the Supersoul of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are not different, one form of the Lord can immediately become manifest in another. Text 25 and 26. Padyopaspar upacharan prakalpayet dharmadibhischa navabhihi kalpayitva sanam mama padmam ashtadalam tatra karnika kesharojvalam ubhabhyam te vedatantrabhyam mahyam tubhya hayasithaye. Translation. The worshipper should first imagine my seat as decorated with the personified deities of religion, knowledge, renunciation, and opulence with my 9 spiritual energies. You should think of the Lord's sitting place as an 8-petaled lotus effulgent on account of the saffron filaments within its whorl. Then, following the regulations of both the Vedas and the Tantras, he should offer me water for washing the feet, water for washing the mouth, arghya, and other items of worship. By this process he achieves both material enjoyment and liberation. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, religion, knowledge, renunciation, and opulence are the legs of the Lord's sitting platform and occupy the 4 corners, beginning with the southeast. Irreligion, ignorance, attachment, and wretchedness are the intermediate legs, standing in the 4 directions, beginning with the east. The 9 Shaktis or potencies of the Lord are Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Prahvi, Satya, Ishana, and Anugraha. Text 27. Sudarshanam Panchajanyam Gadashishudanurhalan Mushalam Kaustubhamalam Srivatsam Chanupujayet. Translation. One should worship in order the Lord's Sudarshan disc, his Panchajanya conch shell, his club, sword, bow, arrows, and plow, his Mushala weapon, his Kaustupa gem, his flower garlands, and the Srivatsa curl of hair on his chest. Text 28. Nandam Sunandam Garudam Prachandam Chandam Evacha Mahabalam balam chaiva kumudam kumudekshanam. Translation. One should worship the Lord's associates Nanda and Sunanda, Garuda, Prachanda and Chanda, Mahabala and Bala and Kumuda and Kumudekshana. Text 29. Durgam Vinayakam Vyasam Vishvakshenam Gurun Suran Sve Sve Stane Tvabhimukhan Pujayet Prokshanadipihi. Translation. With offerings such as Prokshana, one should worship Durga, Vinayaka, Vyasa, Vishvaksena, the spiritual masters, and the various demigods. All these personalities should be in their proper places facing the deity of the Lord. Purport. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Ganesha and Durga mentioned in this verse are not the same personalities present within the material world. Rather, they are eternal associates of the Lord in Vaikuntha. In this world, Ganesha, the son of Lord Shiva, is famous for awarding financial success, and the goddess Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva, is famous as the external illusory potency of the Supreme Lord. The personalities mentioned here, however, are eternally liberated associates of the Lord, who reside in the spiritual sky, beyond the material manifestation. Srila Jiva Goswami quotes from various Vedic literatures to prove that the name Durga may also indicate the internal potency of the Lord, who is not different from him. The external or covering potency of the Lord expands from this original Durga. The Durga of the material world, called Mahamaya, assumes the function of bewildering the living entities. Thus, a devotee should not fear becoming polluted by worshipping the Durga mentioned here, who has the same name as illusion, but rather the devotee must show respect to these eternal servitors of the Supreme Lord in Vaikuntha. Text 30 and 31. Chandona Shira Karpura Kunkuma Guru Vashitaihi Shalilaihi Snapayen Mantrayen Nityada Vibhave Sati Swarnagharmanuvakena Mahapurusha Vidyaya Paurushishinapi Suktena Samabhirajanadibihi. Translation. The worshipper should bathe the deity every day as opulently as his assets permit, using waters scented with sandalwood, ushira root, camphor, kunkuma, and aguru. He should also chant various Vedic hymns, such as the Anuvaka, known as Swarna Garma, the Mahapurusha Vidya, the Purusha Shukta, and various songs of the Sama Veda, such as the Rajana and the Rohiniya. Purport. The Purusha Shukta prayer beginning Om Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshaha Sahasrapat is contained within the Rigveda. Text 32. Vastropavita Bharana Patra Sraganthalepanaihi Alankurvita Saprema Madbhakto Mam Yathochitam. Translation. My devotee should then lovingly decorate me with clothing, a brahmana thread, various ornaments, marks of tilaka, and garlands, and you should anoint my body with fragrant oils, all in the prescribed manner. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami quotes Lord Sri Vishnu's instructions to Ambarish Maharaj in the Vishnu Dharma Upapurana as follows. Absorbing your mind completely in the deity, you should give up all other shelter and consider the deity your intimate well-wisher. You should mentally worship him and meditate upon him while you walk, while you stand, while you sleep and eat. You should see the deity in front of you, behind, above, below, and on both sides. This way you should constantly remember my deity form. In the Gautamiya Tantra, one is enjoined to give the deity of the Lord a Brahmana thread, if possible one made of gold. In the Narasimha Purana it is stated, if one offers to Lord Govinda yellow sacred thread containing 3 strands of silk, he will become an expert in Vedanta. Text 33. Padyam Achamaniyam cha gantham sumana sokshatan Thupa dipopaharyani tadyan shraddhayar chakaha. Translation: the worshipper should faithfully present me with water for washing my feet and mouth, fragrant oils, flowers, and unbroken grains, along with incense, lamps, and other offerings. Text 34. Guda payasa sharpimshi shashkuli apupa modakan samyavadathi supamscha naivedyam satikalpaye. Translation: within his means, the devotee should arrange to offer me sugar candy, sweet rice, ghee, shashkudi, rice flour cakes, apupa, various sweet cakes, modakas, steamed rice flour dumplings filled with sweet coconut and sugar, samyavas, wheat cakes made with ghee and milk and covered with sugar and spices, yogurt, vegetable soups, and other palatable foods. Purport: one can acquire detailed information of proper and improper foods to offer in deity worship by consulting Sri Haribhaktivilas English Vilasa verses 152 to 164. Text 35. Apyangon mardana darsha danta dvavaphisechanam annatya gita nrityani Parvani Shur Uttanvaham. Translation: on special occasions and daily if possible, the deity should be massaged with ointment, shown a mirror, offered the eucalyptus stick for brushing his teeth, bathed with the 5 kinds of nectar, offered all kinds of opulent foods, and entertained with singing and dancing. Purport: Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the process of deity worship as follows. First, the deity's teeth should be cleaned, then his body massaged with fragrant oil and rubbed with vermilion, camphor, powder, and so forth. Then he should be bathed with fragrant water and the 5 kinds of nectar. Next, one should offer valuable silk garments and jeweled ornaments to the deity, smear his body with sandalwood paste, and offer him garlands and other gifts. After this, one should hold a mirror in front of the deity and then offer fragrant oil, flowers, incense, lamps, and scented water for refreshing the mouth. One should offer all types of palatable foods, fragrant water, betel nuts, garlands, arati lamps, a bed to rest, and so on. One should also fan the deity and perform instrumental music, singing, and dancing. This deity worship must be performed on special occasions like religious holidays, or else, if one can afford it, daily. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, Ekadashi is an appropriate day for performing special deity worship. Text 36. Vithina vihite kunde mekhala karta vedibihi agnim atyaya paritaha samuhet paninoditam. Translation: in an arena constructed according to scriptural injunctions, the devotee should perform a fire sacrifice, utilizing the sacred belt, the sacrificial pit, and the altar mound. When igniting the sacrificial fire, the devotee should bring it to a blaze with wood piled up by his own hands. Text 37. Parishtiryatha paryukshet anvatyaya yatha vithi prokshanya satyatravyanim Prokshagno Bhavayetamam. Translation: after spreading kusha grass on the ground and sprinkling it with water, one should perform the Anvadhana ritual according to the prescribed rules. Then one should arrange the items to be offered as oblations and should sanctify them with water from the sprinkling vessel. The worshipper should next meditate upon me within the fire. Purport: Srila Jiva Goswami mentions that one should meditate upon the Lord as the Supersoul within the sacrificial fire. Text 38 to 41. Tapta Jambu Nada Prakyam Sankha Chakra Gadam Bujaihi La Chaturbhujam Santam Padmakinjalkavasasam Spurat Kataka Katisutra Varangadam Srivatsavakshasham Brajat Kaustubam Vanamalinam Jayan Abhyarchadaruni Havishabhi Gritani cha Prasyajya Bhagav Akharao Dattva Chadya Plutam Havihi Juhuyan Mula Mantrena Sodasharcha Vadanataha Dharmadipyo Yatha Nyayam Mantraihi Svistikritam Buddha. Translation. The intelligent devotee should meditate upon that form of the Lord, whose color is like molten gold, whose forearms are resplendent with the conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower, and who is always peaceful and dressed in a garment colored like the filaments within a lotus flower. His helmet, bracelets, belt, and fine arm ornaments shine brilliantly. The symbol of Srivatsa is on his chest, along with the glowing Kaustupa gem and a garland of forest flowers. The devotee should then worship that Lord by taking pieces of firewood soaked in the sacrificial ghee and throwing them into the fire. He should perform the ritual of Aghara, presenting into the fire the various items of oblation drenched in ghee. He should then offer to 16 demigods, beginning with Yamaraj, the oblation called Svistikrit, reciting the basic mantras of each deity and the 16-line Purusha Sukta hymn. Pouring one oblation after each line of the Purusha Sukta, he should utter the particular mantra naming each deity. Text 42. Abharchatha namaskritya parshadebhyo balim haret Mula mantram japet brahma smaran narayanatmakam. Translation. Having thus worshipped the Lord in the sacrificial fire, the devotee should offer his obeisances to the Lord's personal associates by bowing down and should then present offerings to them. He should then chant quietly the Mula mantra of the deity of the Lord, remembering the absolute truth as the Supreme Personality Narayana. Text 43. Dattva-chammanam uchesham vishvakshenaya kalpayet mukhavasam surabhimat tumbulatyam atharhayet. Translation. Once again he should offer the deity water for washing his mouth, and he should give the remnants of the Lord's food to Vishvaksena. Then he should present the deity with fragrant perfume for the mouth and prepared betel nut. Text 44. Upagayan grinan nirtyan karmani apinayan mama matkataha shravayan shrinvan muhurtam kshaniko bhavet. Translation. Singing along with others, chanting loudly and dancing, acting out my transcendental pastimes, and hearing and telling stories about me, the devotee should for some time absorb himself in such festivity. Purport. A devotee engaged in regulative worship of the Supreme Lord should sometimes become ecstatically absorbed in chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord, dancing and other festivities. The word muhurtam for some time indicates that a devotee should be careful not to neglect his regulative principles and service to the Lord in the name of so-called ecstasy. Although one may be ecstatically engaged in chanting, hearing, and dancing, he cannot give up the formality of regulated service to the Lord. Text 45. Stavair uchavachaihi stotraihi pauranaihi prakritirapi stutva prasida bhagavan iti vandeta dandavat. Translation. The devotee should offer homage to the Lord with all kinds of hymns and prayers, both from the Puranas and from other ancient scriptures, and also from ordinary traditions, Praying, O Lord, please be merciful to me, he should fall down flat like a rod to offer his obeisances. Text 46. Shiro matpadayoho kritva bahupyam cha parasparam prapannam pahimam misha pitam mrityu graharnayavat. Translation. Placing his head at the feet of the deity, he should then stand with folded hands before the Lord and pray, O my Lord, please protect me, who am surrendered unto you. I am most fearful of this ocean of material existence, standing as I am in the mouth of death. Text 47. Iti shesham maya dattam shirasi athaya sadaram udvasayeche udvasyam jyotirjyotishitat punaha. Translation. Praying in this way, the devotee should respectfully place upon his head the remnants I offer to him. And if the particular deity is meant to be sent away at the end of the worship, then this should be performed, the devotee once again placing the light of the deity's presence inside the light of the lotus within his own heart. Text 47. Archadishu yadayatra shraddha mam tatra charchayet sarvabhutesh atmani cha sarvatmaham avastitaha. Translation. Whenever one develops faith in me, in my form as the deity, or in other bona fide manifestations, one should worship me in that form. I certainly exist both within all created beings and also separately in my original form, since I am the Supreme Soul of all. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped according to the faith of a particular worshipper. The deity form Archa is specifically mentioned here because deity worship is essential for spiritual progress. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that inexperienced persons may think that the deity is meant for the sense gratification of the worshipper, since superficially the deity is made of external substances such as marble or brass. But through the process of installing the deity by chanting of authorized mantras, one invites the Supreme Personality of Godhead to enter the deity form. By regulated, faithful worship, one gradually understands that the deity is completely non-different from the Supreme Lord himself. At that stage, on the strength of deity worship, one rises to the second-class platform of devotional service. At this more developed stage, one desires to make friendship with other devotees of the Lord, and as one becomes solidly established in the community of Vaishnavas, one completely gives up material life and gradually becomes perfect in Krishna consciousness. Text 49. Evam kriya yoga pathaihi puman vaidika tantrikaihi archanubhayataha siddhim matto vindati abhipsitam. Translation. By worshipping me through the various methods prescribed in the Vedas and Tantras, one will gain from me his desired perfection in both this life and the next. Text 50. Madarcham sampratisthapya mandiram karayedridham pushpodyanani ramyani pujayatrotsavarsritan. Translation. The devotee should more fully establish my deity by solidly constructing a temple, along with beautiful garlands. These gardens should be set aside to provide flowers for the regular daily worship, special deity processions, and holiday observances. Purport. Wealthy pious persons should be engaged in constructing temples and gardens for the pleasure of the deity. The word dhritam indicates that the most solid means of constructing should be employed. Text 51. Puchadinam pravahartham mahaparvash athanvaham kshetrapana puragraman datva matsarstitam viyat. Translation. One who offers the deity gifts of land, markets, cities, and villages so that the regular daily worship and special festivals of the deity may go on continually will achieve opulence equal to my own. Purport. By placing tracts of land in the deity's name, there will be regular income for upland deity worship, both from rent and from agricultural production. A worshipper who makes the arrangements mentioned above will certainly achieve opulence like that of the personality of Godhead. Text 52. Pratishtaya sarvabhaumam sadmana bhuvanatrayam pujadina brahmalokam tribirmatsamyatam. Translation. By installing the deity of the Lord, one becomes king of the entire earth. By building a temple for the Lord, one becomes ruler of the three worlds. By worshipping and serving the deity, one goes to planet of Lord Brahma, and by performing all three of these activities, one achieves a transcendental form like my own. Text 53. Mameva nairapekshayena Bhakti yogena vindati bhakti yogam salabhata evamyaha pujayetamam. Translation. But one who simply engaged in devotional service with no consideration of fruit or results attains me. Thus whoever worships me according to the process I have described will ultimately attain pure devotional service unto me. The previous two verses were spoken by the Lord to attract those interested in fruitive results, and now the ultimate purpose of worshipping the Lord is described. The ultimate goal in life is Lord Krishna himself. Love for the Lord is the highest bliss, although ordinary people cannot understand this. Text 54. Yaha swadattam parayirdattam haritasura viprayoho mrittim sa jayate jayate vidbhu varshanam ayuto yutam. Translation. Anyone who steals the property of the demigods or the Brahmins, whether originally given to them by himself or someone else, must live as a worm in stool for 100 millions of years. Text 55. Kartuscha sarathirtehitor anumoditurevacha karmanam bhaginaha pretya bhuyo bhuyasi tadphalam. Translation. Not only the performer of the theft, but also anyone who assists him, instigates the crime, or simply approves of it must also share the reaction in the next life. According to their degree of participation, they each must suffer proportionate consequences. Purport. Stealing paraphernalia meant for worshipping the Supreme Lord or his authorized representatives should be avoided at all costs. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 11th Canto, 27th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Krishna's Instructions on the Process of Deity Worship.